which is on assessment of non-filers of return, which is now, I think everybody would have seen this. So this is nothing which is very rare. It has become very, very common. If you don't file your return, immediately the notices will start coming. So this particular section 62 is for assessment of non-filers of return. Registered taxpayer fails to furnish return under section 39 or 45. 45 is GSTR 10. GSTR 10 is which form? GSTR 10 is which form?
Final return.
Yes. So 3B is the monthly or quarterly return. 10 is final return. So if you fail to furnish these two forms, this section is applicable. So what happens is the proper officer will send you one love letter, a notice in GSTR 3A first. So that is under section 46 for filing returns. So he will tell you, please file your returns within 15 days. If you don't file your return within 15 days, immediately an order will be passed, a best judgment assessment order. So this order will be sent to you to assess the tax liability of the said person and taking into account all the relevant material facts. So whatever facts the proper officer has got, because you have not filed your return, so whatever facts are available, he will pass the best judgment assessment. The assessment order will be in ASMT 13 and he will upload DRC 07 form within. So the time limit is basically 5 years from the due date of annual return. So section 62, this notice can be issued within, this order can be passed within 5 years from the due date of filing annual return. So it is not necessary you should file. He should give it immediately, even after 3-4 years also. If the proper officer realizes he has not filed the return, he has got the time to issue ASMD 13. So it is very, very important. He always, any organization or association or institute ask for the extension of time for filing annual return. We should never ask for extension of time for annual return. We should always ask the waiver of late fees. See, this is what it happens if you ask for extension, because all the deadlines or all the deadlines for issuing the notice also gets extended. I have got a chart where I will explain you on that. So whenever you are asking for any relief on filing annual return or 9C, we should always ask for waiver of the late fees and not for the extension of the due dates. If registered person furnishes the return, so the beauty about this section is, if under section 46, if a notice is issued under GSTR 3A to file your returns within 15 days, if register and if you don't file, an order is passed, and after the order is passed, within 30 days of passing the order, you file your return, the order is deemed to be withdrawn. So even though order is passed under best judgment, but if you file your returns within 30 days, the order is withdrawn. If you don't file it within 30 days, then this tax liability is permanent and you have to go higher up in appeal and withdraw this order. So the key point under this is, it is applicable only if you don't file your returns. It is basically returns under section 39 and 45. So it is basically 39 and 45 is 3B, 4, 5, GSTR 6, 7, and under 45, section 45, it is final return. So it is basically, it is not for GST. If you don't file your GSTR 1, section 62 notice cannot be issued. It is only for returns. Similarly, for non-filing of annual return, TCS return, also this notice cannot be issued because annual return is issued to be filed under section 44 and not 39, including TCS return. So before taking action, notice under section 46 has to be issued. So you cannot directly pass assessment order. You have to issue notice. GSTR 3A has to be issued. And one more thing which is very important is the best judgment assessment has to be on a reasonable basis, where a lot of High Court and Supreme Court judgments are there, where it is clearly told that whenever there is a best judgment assessments, it has to be on reasonable basis, and it is not on the discretion or on the whims and fancies of the proper officer, where he just, if previous months his turnover is 10 lakhs, he cannot just make it 30-40 lakhs and pass a best judgment assessment. He has to have some workings, some data with him, what was his turnover, what can be his turnover, and then only a best judgment can be done. As such, no separate notice is required to be issued for best judgment assessment order. So GSTR 2A will be issued and immediately assessment order can be passed. For the purpose of assessment of tax liability under section 62, the proper officer may take into account. So these are the details he may take into account. One is GSTR 3.1 data, GSTR 2A, 2B, e-way bill, any other information available from any other source, including from inspection. He can take the data from income tax portal, ROC, bank account. So wherever any data he gets, he can use that data. So whether the order passed under section 62 appealable, yes, this order can be appealed against. It has to be taken through appellate route. Whether penalty can be imposed under section 62. So there is an order which you have passed. So he passes a best judgment order, but there is no penalty. Penalty has to be levied or imposed in the respective sections only. So it can be through 73, 74 show cause notices. Can self-assessed tax be lower than the best judgment? So if your best judgment order is X amount, can your self-assessed tax be less? Of course, it can be less. If it is less, there may be a notice which may be issued to explain why there is a difference. Can proceedings under section 73 or 74 directly initiated for non-filers? Can show cause notice be issued directly to the non-filers? Anybody?
No, sir.
Why? Why?
Notice has to be issued under section 62 only, sir.
Yeah, so because
After that, they have to go to,
yes, because section 62 starts with notwithstanding anything contrary contained in section 73 or 74. It overrides section 73 and 74. So section 62 is an overriding provision which is over and above 73, 74. So first you have to follow the procedure of 62, then only you can follow the procedure of 73, 74. Can proceedings under 73 or 74 initiated for the same period after withdrawal of ASMT 13 on filing return? So there is an order which was passed and return was filed. Since return was filed, ASMT 13 was withdrawn. Can proceedings be initiated under section 73, 74? One more question. Anyone? Jagan? Satish? Can a show cause notice be issued under section 73, 74 once the return is filed and order is withdrawn? No one?
so I think it is possible.
It is possible because once the return is filed, then there may be some discrepancy, there may be some differences which may find out, which may come out. On that basis, notice can be issued. Can proceedings under section 61 initiated once assessment under 62 is withdrawn? So in similar case, return is filed. Can a scrutiny be done now under section 61? So 62 was initiated, return filed. Can 61 be initiated now? It can be initiated because scrutiny can be done only if the returns are filed. So you cannot do a scrutiny unless the return is filed. So section 62 made you to file returns by giving you an order. And once the return is filed, section 61 comes into action and scrutiny can be done under section 61. So basically for non-filers, as per the SOP standard operating procedures, circular number 129, this I think everybody will be seeing it on a daily basis. When you have to file your return, 3 days before itself, mail started coming, message starts coming, please file your return, please file your return. Still, if you don't file, after due date, an email comes, you have not filed your return, please file your return. After 5 days, GSTR 3A is issued to you, a notice is issued telling to file your returns within 15 days. If you don't file your return within 15 days, A70 13, an assessment order and best judgment order is passed and DRC 07 is uploaded. Even after A70 13, issue of A70 13, you don't file your return, then if you file your return, the order is withdrawn. If you don't file your return, recovery proceedings will start. That is, directly your bank attachment will happen, or under section 83 also possible. That is, the property can be attached and it can be sold. So recovery proceedings will start. And again, cancellation of registration will happen. So there is a judicial pronouncement where an SEC failed to file return within a period available under the Act, and thereupon competent authority passed assessment order on SSC on best judgment. What the court has told, High Court of Kerala has told, is he asked for an extension of time. He told 30 days, it is too short time for me to file return. I want an extension of time. Court has told whatever time is given, you should abide by the time, and it would be unjustified in granting an extension of period contemplated under section 62(2) so as to enable SEC to file return beyond the period. So what the court has told is the extension cannot be granted. If 30 days time is given, return has to be filed within 30 days. I will not go into that. This is basically 15 days time. In this particular case, 15 days was not followed. Within 14 days, an order was passed. So the court quashed the order, telling it was the time limit was not maintained. 15 days time has to be completed to issue the order. Again, mail has not come, SMS has not come, but in the web portal, in your common portal, the notice is available. The court has told even a notice served in your common portal is a valid notice, and SSC should not aspire to get benefit of withdrawal of assessment order just because he has not got the notice or order in his mail or message. Now again, there was a confusion of 5 years time limit. They got 5 years time limit to issue notice from 5 years from the due date of filing annual return. So this particular taxpayer told the notice can be issued once the annual return is filed. So you cannot issue any notice before the annual return is filed for that particular year. So again, the court has told no, that is only an outer limit which the Act says that this notice can be issued for every tax period. So again, interplay between 62 and 7374. So I will not go much into the detail of this. So it's basically 62 is for non-filers. So section 62 has got overriding powers effect over 73 or 74. So what I told, before issue of notice 73, 74, first you have to complete the formalities of section 62. Further, it has to be read concurrently with section 7374. Procedures or mechanism under section 7374, which are to the extent not contrary to section 62, can be followed. So anything under section 7374, which is not in contrary to 62, can be followed. 73 and 74, I will come in detail later on. So I will not discuss this now. Then again, section 63. This is for assessment of unregistered